Break the board sports. It's your boy RJ Cash. Click that like, hit subscribe. Friday night here on the hardwood. Got some good games. Miami of Ohio. They look to extend their winning streak as they have yet to lose this year, ranked 21st in the country. Then we got Michigan, Illinois. Huge Big Ten battle. Again, go to breaktheboardsports.com. All the way down at the bottom, it says college and NFL football. Get that fixed for you. But the $32.99 will take you now through April 1st. Check that out. Click that like, hit subscribe. Let's get right into the first game. Talking about Miami of Ohio, here ranked 21st in the country. They are on the road at Western Michigan inside the MAC. Now, Miami of Ohio is laying 12.5. 161.5 is the total. 38% of the ticket count. 65% of the handle going to that over 161. 62% of ticket count. 35% of the handle going to the under. Now, when you look at those sides, 82% of tickets equaling 83% of the money is laying the 12.5 on the road with the Red Hawks. Only 18% of ticket count, 17% of the money going to the Western Michigan Broncos. Now, again, the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio, 28-0. Western Michigan just 10-18. This one's setting at 12.5. I would expect it to move. We're at midnight here on Friday morning. So that thing is going to move as we get closer to game time, I would presume. Now, Miami of Ohio on the road has the seventh best scoring offense in the nation, 86 points per game, is where Western Michigan, they're only averaging 78.5 points per game. So about an 8-point edge there. Western Michigan giving up 74.6. Miami of Ohio giving up 76.6. Now, when you look at their last meeting between the two teams back on January 6th, at home, Miami of Ohio only won by 11. I say only, but that game was a little tighter. Now, inside the conference, Western Michigan just 4-11, 2-5 at home. That's not going to get it done. Miami of Ohio, 5-0 their last 5 against the spread. But Western Michigan been a little bit of an enigma. They've beaten Western Michigan 8 of the last 11 times. However, in the last 5 meetings with the Broncos, Miami of Ohio has only covered once. Now, they're a perfect 13-0 on the road, as we spoke of at length. Western Michigan just 3-9 straight up their last 12 and 2-6 against the spread their last 8. More importantly, in their last 5 home games, Western Michigan has been able to muster just one win. In the roll of the dog, Western Michigan 2-7 against the spread. Now, I talked about that line right now setting at 12.5 for this game. I got to tell you, 12.5, I think by the time we get around to game time, that thing's going to be 14. If that thing does move to 14, you got to take Western Michigan here plus the points. That would be the way that I lean in this game. Next game on the board, we're going to go to the Ivy League. Yale at Cornell. This is always a tough game. Yale is laying 2.5 to 3, depending on where you shop on the road. 165.5 is the total. 37% ticket count, 73% of the handle. Going over that 165.5. 63% ticket count, 27% of the handle going to the under. Now, when you look at the side, 84% ticket count, equaling 95% of the handle, is laying it on the road with Yale. 16% ticket count, only 5% of the handle is taking the Cornell Big Red. Now, Yale 21-4. Cornell sets in here at 12-12 on the year. Now, Yale averaging 81.1 points per game, but Cornell at home has the 9th best scoring offense in the country, 93.3 points per game. Yale giving up 73, Cornell giving up 81. If you look at their last meeting head-to-head back January 17th, that was a game at Yale that Yale absolutely destroyed them, 102-68 in that game. They out-rebounded them by 10. Cornell only shot 33% from the floor, as to where Yale shot 61% of the floor. So just huge discrepancy there. Cornell just 11 of 43 from the three-point line. Now, Cornell just 5-6 in the conference, 1-4 at home. Yale, over their last 7 games, though, is just 1-6 against the spread. Yale, 5 straight wins. And then against Cornell, Yale has beat them 5 straight, and they've covered 4 of those 5. Yale 5-1 on the road. Now, we talked about they've covered 4 of the last 5 against Cornell, but on the road at Cornell, Yale has only covered one of the last 5. They're 8-1 inside the Ivy League. In the role of the favorite, Yale has played to the over 4 of their last 6. Now, Cornell, they've played 6 straight unders and 5 straight unders within the conference. Yale, or Cornell rather, when they're in the role of the dog, they don't win very often. They're 1-10 over their last 11. They're just 1-6 against the spread their last 7 at home. But again, when they've been at home against Yale, they've covered 4 of the last 5. I was really trying to make a case for Cornell in this one. Really kind of wanted to hop out there and take them, but just going to have to stay away. Don't trust them. I will say this: I wouldn't lay it on the road with Yale. Just feel like that's a little bit of a trap spot. Next game, Dayton on the board here. Dayton, they coming off that game against St. Louis. They head down to over to GW rather to take on George Washington. George Washington, a 3.5-point favorite. 151.5 is your total in this one. 41% of ticket count is equaling 51% of the handle going over 151.5. 59% of ticket count equaling 49% of the handle going to the under 151.5 in this one. Now, George Washington, again, 48% of ticket count, but it's equating to 75% of the handle as to where the Dayton Flyers, 52% of ticket count, equaling 25% of the handle going their way, catching the 3.5. Now, when you dive in, look a little deeper into the stats here, Dayton averaging 71.7 points per game on the road. GW, a whole lot more at home, 85.5, so about a 14-point advantage. Now, Dayton is giving up 78 a game, as to where GW here is only giving up 69.5. So huge edges there for George Washington. Now, they played back January 6th at Dayton. That's a game Dayton was able to sneak in there and win 79-72 in that game. If you look inside the conference, Dayton 10-5, GW just 10-8. But Dayton is 3-4 on the road inside the conference, as to where George Washington is 5-2 at home. Dayton, 5-1 straight up their last 6 games overall, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. They've been a covering machine for bettors against George Washington. Check this out. In the last 18 matchups, Dayton is 14-4 against the spread, and they've beaten George Washington outright 8 of the last 10 meetings. Now, Dayton on the road usually spells over. They've cashed to the over 4 of their last 5 games on the road, and 6 of their last 8 games at George Washington have went over the total as well. Now, if you look at George Washington on the flip side of it, they're just 2-5 against the spread their last 7, but they're 13-3 straight up their last 16 at home. When they're in the role of the favorite, they've played to the under 5 of their last 6. But again, when they're at home, the over is cashed 6 of their last 8 at home against Dayton. And then overall, head-to-head, 10 of the last 15 matchups between Dayton and George Washington have went over the total. When you look at the game and really dive the handicap of it, I lean over that 151.5. I think that's going to end up getting there. And then I'm leaning George Washington -3. Look, I know Dayton's had a lot of success here, but George Washington -3, I think is going to end up being the way you go. I'll either end up on George Washington or not on the game at all. Big game, the best game of the night. Again, click that like, hit subscribe, Break the Board Sports, helping you become a better handicapper. Here, number 3, Michigan on the road at number 10, Illinois. This one's going to be a whole lot of fun. Now, the Wolverines, they came off that loss against Duke. They came home to Minnesota as a 21.5-point favorite and only won that game by 10. Didn't look real sharp. You kind of expected that. Typically, I would look at the dog plus 21.5. But, Michigan, they can blow somebody out at any given time. Illinois fell apart. We had UCLA, so that worked out for us catching the points. UCLA, they were down like 19 to Illinois, came back and beat them. So now, where do these two teams kind of go? Michigan laying 1.5 on the road, 157.5 is the total. 82% ticket count is equaling 88% of the handle. Going to the over 157.5, 18% of ticket count equaling 12% of the handle. Going to the under 157.5. Now, when you look at the side, all Michigan love. 83% of both bets and handle going to Michigan, as there were 17% of tickets and handle going to Illinois plus 1.5. I would suspect this thing touches 2. That would be my suspicion. 2, you might even see a 2.5. But I would be really surprised if this thing stayed at 1.5. I think you're at least going to see a 2. Michigan comes in 26-2. Illinois comes in 22-6. Now, on the road, Michigan averaging 81.1 points per game, as where Illinois is at home, 86.2 points per game. Michigan giving up 71.6 points per game on the road. At home, Illinois giving up 66.2 points per game. If you look at their last matchup, it was last March in the tournament. Illinois beat them by 20, but these are two totally different teams. Illinois inside the conference 13-4, Michigan 16-1. Michigan is perfect on the road in the conference, perfect 8-0, as where Illinois 6-2 at home. Now Michigan is 5-10 ATS their last 15. A lot of wins, not a lot of covers. 12-1 straight up their last 13. Illinois has been a problem for Michigan. This crazy. Illinois has beaten Michigan 9 straight, and they've covered 8 of the last 9. Despite that, Michigan is 9-0 on the road their last 9. Michigan's last 6 trips to Champaign, they're just 1-5 straight up. Illinois 13-7 against the spread their last 20. They're 14-3 straight up their last 17 overall. At home, Illinois 15-2 their last 17. Again, they've beaten Michigan 5 of the last 6 outright, but I can't get that stat out of my mind. Illinois has beaten Michigan 9 straight and covered 8 of the 9. That's just wild to me. Explains why we got the line we have. With that being said, Michigan minus 125 is my play. I think Illinois is really tough. I just think Michigan is much better and super, super talented. Michigan would be my play here. RJ Cash, Break the Board Sports, giving you stats, trends, and information to help you become a better handicapper, whether you fade or follow. Hope you guys win your bets. God bless and happy handicapping.